Wow. All right. We got our intro. Welcome, everyone. This is your girl, Hype Yogi, recording episode 1 of I Am Well podcast here, coming to you live from Paris, France. I know it is quite crazy because it took me just a jabillion million times for me to actually get this into a recording. To be honest, I have written 8 episodes for this show and it was ready. It is ready to go. Everything was perfect. But something in me just didn't feel like following a script is the right way to go. If you know me, I really don't follow a script. And therefore, here I am still with my computer just to give me a little guidance. And then we go. So, this is episode 1 of I Am Well podcast. What can I say? This podcast is dedicated to May Wellness Month for our mental health. Um, Today, I am talking to you about this topic of dreams, doubt, and determination, and how to follow through and not give up. This is so close to me actually because I feel like I've doubted myself jabillion times to lead me to today, to this moment right here. Um, I've recorded this episode at least 3, 4 times now, and yet here I am restarting again to episode 1. Um, I struggle with perfectionism. I feel like a lot of us can resonate on that. As an immigrant, as well, as a woman of color, I feel like um, I really had to prove myself in order to be in front of opportunities, I guess, if you may. And so I just want to reel us back into my script because I feel like I can speak on a lot of things. But the reason why I have created and structured the first few episodes in a way that is structured, because your girl is not a structured girl. And I can speak on all things, different things, and not get to a place of conclusion. So let's reel us back into our topic today. We're talking about dreams, doubt, and determination, and how to follow through and not give up on your dream. So, I want to dig into this topic that is so close to many of us, a topic that got me here today recording this episode. Determination and what it really takes to follow through on a dream. Let's take a moment right now. One of the things that I want to do in this podcast is to really um, embed moments of mindfulness and presence. And so let's ground down right now for a moment to just breathe. Inhale in through the nose and exhale, release it out. 2 more like that. Inhale in and exhale out. And last one, inhale in and exhale, release it out. Let's be real here. I mean, chasing a dream sounds amazing and inspiring, but staying committed when things get hard, when doubt creeps in, and when life throws curveballs, that's where the real work begins. I mean, I was in New York City last weekend, and as I was going through the city, I just thought to myself, it would be so cool to just be a normal kid, to go through the city, to walk around, to go to the stores, to go to the coffee shops, to walk around, like normal people shit. And I know that this project is pending. I know that this project needs to come out. I know that this project is so near and dear to my heart, and I just really want to make it happen. But something in me just is um, doubting the fact that I'm going to do this. Two, I was really thinking about, do people really want to listen to it? Are people really anticipating this podcast to truly drop? And just many thoughts that circles around me that just says it's okay. I guess you can just procrastinate a little bit more and wait until the last minute to get it in, which I did. I mean, we can be real about that. Something that I really want to do is to just get better over time, right? To just do this right here, right now, with hopes that it just gets easier. I feel like that is the one thing that I want to lead this episode with, is that it is so hard to start something, especially when you really truly care about it. And so a lot of things can come your way to get you to a place of just not even starting anyway. So today, I want to talk to you about how to stay motivated, how to protect your mental health as you are achieving your dreams or working on your dreams, and how to keep going, especially when you feel like giving up. So, those are the topics that we want to talk about today. And before we want to get started, really, let me begin with a story. Yeah, because exactly 4 years ago, I was in this very moment of my life, 2021. I had a dream to start this podcast, and I was standing at the edge of a major transformation or transition in my life. If I can describe that feeling, it's like standing on a diving board. Um, with my knees weak. I did this actually in Tulum a few years ago. I'm low key afraid of of heights, and technically I could float, but I'm not a really good swimmer. So think about this, stacking on many things that I am afraid of, and I just told myself, go ahead and just do it, go 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 go, and putting a lot of pressure on myself to actually deliver on that, right? So I thought 4 years ago, it was a great time to record the process of my healing and have an audience as I brave my way to be seen. As I believe that the creative process would be a space to almost like um, encapsulate my healing journey, and thought it would keep me grounded and uplifted and productive. You see the words? Even to navigate this big change in my life. I imagine that if I could speak my truth into a mic, maybe others moving through their own transformations might find a moment of reflection too. So, for me, community healing has always been the biggest mission of my life. It's what drives me every single day and motivates me to wake up, do my thing, show up. And truly, because of community healing and my passion for it, it actually in turn saved my life. During this time, about 2021, I was co-owning and operating a boutique wellness studio in Seattle, Washington. I doubled down on online offerings at this time because we were in the middle of or tail end of the pandemonium, the COVID 19 pandemic. And so it led me to really get creative on how to reach a new audience, engage our current community, and also continue doing what I do best, and that is to teach. So I led full online yoga teacher training online. I have also led a hybrid teacher training where it's half online and half in person, and then pivoted all the way so that then um, we can truly serve the community. And what was needed at that time is to stay creative, to stay engaging, and be of service to others. And while trying all these things together, to hold it all together, um, I was actually really in the brink or in this train to burnout. Yeah. So the truth is that during that time, I didn't feel like I was fully myself. Not in a way that I used to. Maybe all of us didn't really feel ourselves really at that time because of all these major changes in our life. So I had this vision for this podcast, the passion for it, and the drive for it. But I was so afraid to truly drive myself to burnout. I've never even been truly afraid of the grind, but emotionally, I was in the brink of total disaster, pretty much. My capacity was shot. I kept adding more to my plate, thinking that movement equaled healing. That if I stay moving, eventually um, I'll just get to the other end. Um, that staying on the grind meant I was doing okay. So, what really got to me is that I remember sitting on the floor on my empty apartment one night, thinking, do I really want to make my already public life even more exposed? That was like the moment where I had to ask myself, why am I sharing so much of myself out there? What is the true reason of why I was doing that? And so it really got me to thinking, and what the spirit had moved me is to find stillness. It told me to stay still and listen and um, be grounded. Um, so I chose to prioritize my mental health, to honor that transition, to give myself the gift of space, the deep rest and quiet unraveling that change so often requires. So let's take that moment of stillness right here and a moment of reflection. Have you been moving so much, hustling every single day, and thinking that the hustle and grind truly leads you to your healing? So take a moment to ground yourself down, find time to reflect, even just this moment, a few rounds of breath. Inhale in. And an exhale out. Two more like that. Inhale in. I promise this is not ASMR. Exhale, release it out. But maybe it could be. Last one. Inhale here. And exhale, release it out. Hmm. So that moment between the breath, that's where I lived for a while. In the in between, I took time to rebuild, to reshape my world, to reconnect to myself, not for public consumption, but for my personal truth. I recorded a lot. Um, Never really made it to public. Even recording this right now makes me feel like, can I just record this to myself and not make it public? But I can't do that now because, I'm working with Lost in New York Studios. And this right here, me recording, I do not edit it. I actually pretty much go, okay, I record and it just goes to a portal and it goes live. So I think taking away that what is it? That option for me to like actually see this project to fruition, to like have it all in my hands. It's actually pretty cool because without that push and that help, I don't think you'll ever hear these words that comes out of my mouth. So I wrote a lot while I was on my break. I created a lot, all for me, not again being published, but I'm now in that moment where I really believe that letting y'all know, having you be part of this healing journey for me is really transformational. And so I want to be intentional in my healing, and I want to be intentional of what I share with you. I want to be intentional in creating this community with you so that then we can truly see real healing and growth and expansion and transition beyond the words and beyond the cliches and beyond the sayings or beyond the just the grind to get it done, right? So I truly want to have a community that grows together. So I am here doing this, bearing my heart with hopes that you feel supported in your transition too. So eventually, I stepped away from the high demand entrepreneurial life that I had. I sold my studios. Um, I closed one, sold another, and I left for a long, I guess, trip. I traveled a lot. I frolicked on the beach. I fell in love and fell out of love and learned a new language. Lived in another continent. I immersed myself to new communities and I learned. I listened deeply. I trusted the flow, and I met beautiful souls. And I found pieces of myself along the way. And now I'm here, ready to pick it up, pick up this dream to create a podcast and to share my story, to get back to what I was meant to truly do. And that's to be in front of y'all, to be this storyteller and a student and a teacher and be in this beautiful journey, um, to be in this space to do the greatest human act, and that is to inspire. So I really want to do this because it sets my heart on fire. It's allowing me to be in community with y'all to do this thing called community healing. And I cannot wait to talk to you more about this journey and so many truths to explore. And here, right here, is where we begin. So I am grateful for you listening in to this episode. And before we end this episode, I just wanted to share a few things that had helped me um, to get me to this space today. Determination without self compassion becomes punishment. So many of us confuse hustle with purpose. But when you're striving without grace, the ambition can turn into self abandonment. So, the number one person you need to take care of is yourself, right? Never abandon yourself along the process of trying to reach for that next goal, that next big dream, that next step, right? And so I want you to remember that um, you can't grind your way to wholeness. You have to meet yourself with care along the way. And it's so beautiful to be reminded by the words of Buddhist teacher Pema Chodron, who reminds us that having compassion starts and ends with having compassion for all those unwanted parts of ourselves. So take a moment to truly give yourself that true acceptance and care and nurturing and love. Um, because it all begins there. Motivation isn't constant. I mean, we've proven that here. But systems can be. And systems take some time to truly build. And so it takes consistency, it takes it to be uh, natural in a way. So I really love this book that I read a few months ago by James Clear. He wrote there, "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall into the level of your systems." This is Atomic Habits. By the way, if you haven't read it yet, please go read it. Has some really good insights on how to build a sustainable system so that then you don't feel like it's a struggle to get to the end goal. James Clear's findings really align from researchers at the University College of London, just next door neighbor, because your girl is in Paris. I'm looking over my right shoulder right here, and I can see Eiffel Tower just right there. This aligns with the findings of that university that I was just talking about, that show that habit formation takes an average of 6 to 6 days, and consistency trumps motivation every time. So when you're building a dream, it's not about being hyped every day. It's about building routines that support your vision when energy and mood inevitably fluctuate. Yeah. And last, right here, your dream needs space to evolve. I feel like I Am Well podcast 4 years ago, if it was started, it would be so different from I Am Well podcast today. I have truly evolved since the inception or the conception of this podcast. And I'm so excited to like show you um, and remind you your own evolution. So, an evolution is a sign of growth and not a failure. So, even understanding that some dreams truly need to marinate before it becomes an actualized thing. So, I just wanted to let y'all know that give yourself some time to recognize your growth this last few years. So, let's pause right here. Remembering ourselves few years ago. Maybe super easy even. What were you doing a year ago? Springtime of 2024. And then take a moment to think about yourself 2 years prior, 3 years perhaps. A good homework for you to do is go ahead and Take your pen and paper right now, and basically on the left side of that paper, you can write down the years, right? And then on the right side, you can map out almost like a timeline. What were you doing during this time of the year, May, um, in this different timeline, right? Just a little something for you to do. So, here are some signs that you might be pushing too hard. You feel exhausted, but feel guilty of resting. You're paralyzed by fear of failing, and you base your self worth on productivity. I feel like all these things we've talked about already earlier in this episode. So I've been there. Sometimes I'm still there. I feel like the healing journey isn't really, not I feel. It is not linear. So you will always feel like there's this ups and downs that happens. But those systems that I was talking about, when you have those systems set up, then you don't feel so much of the ebbs and flows too drastic. Or at least if you felt it, you are able to come to that center line and realign to what is here in the present moment. And so allow yourself to not be lost uh, while you're chasing your dream. So here are some three ways to get you in alignment. Set process goals and not outcome goals, right? Maybe spending, let me do 30 minutes a day in order to lead to this big project rather than like, we must do this in this timeline. This actually can be taken with a grain of salt because you should know who you are as a person and what truly motivates you to see end result, right? And so setting process goals are great because it is chipping away from the big project and you're setting yourself up for success. But there are some of us that actually really needs that big jump. Remember earlier in this episode, we said I was like in this um, ledge to just jump off of this ledge. I think that sounds bad. I meant a diving board. Uh, I don't know. I meant a precipice. You know what I mean. Go back to it if you want to listen to it again. Um, but giving yourself like this extra system in place to get you to fruition. And that extra system for me is to have a producer. So again, I want to say thank you to Lost Kid New York for really getting me into that next level of me sharing this to you. Yeah. I also want to say the number two thing here is to celebrate your invisible wins. Mental health wins count too. Yeah. Choosing rest over work is resilience in action. And so I want you to know wholeheartedly that it's okay to take rest and it's okay to choose yourself to take that moment for yourself rather than keeping the grind to just keep the grind, right? Celebrate your wins. Celebrate those self care moments that you've given yourself. Celebrate those moments of self acceptance and understanding your process, um, that you may be different from one person to the next. Yeah. And then lastly, build a support system. I think this is the most important part. Dreams aren't meant to be solo missions. Social support significantly reduces psychological distress and enhances resilience, especially during periods of major change. Let people in. Let people in. Your vision deserves a village, right? So you don't have to move fast. You just have to keep moving. You don't have to move fast. You just have to keep moving. Just one foot in front of the other, just one breath at a time. So let's take a big breath right now. Inhale. And exhale. Release it out. During the biggest transition of my life, I made a choice to choose joy. I reclaimed joy, and that joy has become my compass. If you are still listening until this end right here, I just want to say thank you again for spending time to listen in. We'll dig a little bit more deeply into that joy on that next episode. But before we go and end this one, I want to just give a practical takeaway, a practical takeaway for y'all. Number one, reconnect to your why. Why are you doing it? Why is it your dream? What is this anchor, right? Number two, prioritize micro movements over massive leaps. It is okay, little by little, one episode at a time, and then eventually you'll have your series. Yeah. And then third is to honor, and the most important part, by the way, honor your sacred rest. Dream chasing is spiritual work, and rest is part of that ritual. Don't wait until you're burnt out to give yourself permission to pause. Build rest into your rhythm. And remember that rest is not a reward, and it's part of us responding to our own prayers. When we rest, we receive. When you pause, you realign. So carve out intentional time to be still, to be quiet, to just be. And sometimes the clarity you are seeking arrives in the stillness and not the striving. So perhaps as you end this first episode, as we end it here, you take a moment to yourself to find stillness. So if you're out there chasing a dream, this is your gentle reminder. It's okay to feel uncertain. It's okay to move slow. And your mental health matters just as much as your ambition, maybe even more. Thank you so much for joining me for this special pilot episode. Every episode is dedicated to honor this month's Mental Health Awareness Month, bringing real, reflective conversations directly to you. If something in this episode resonated, please pass it on. Super excited for you to share this to others. Share it with someone else on the journey. You never know who needs to hear it. And another thing to remember that you are never alone. If you would like to support the podcast, don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave a review. It means so much to us here in our tiny team of two to hear what you thought about our first episode and looking forward to engage with you, to stay connected. You can follow me on I Am Well Podcast and at Hype Yogi on Instagram. And super excited to stay in contact. Yeah. Until next time, stay well, be well. Peace out.